We live most of our lives on the surface of ourselves. We wake, we work, we interact with others, we return home. We believe we know who we are because we can point to our preferences, our habits, the roles we play. But beneath this familiar territory lies something vast and largely unexplored. Think of consciousness as a small island in an enormous ocean. What we're aware of at any given moment is just the tip of land above water. Below the surface exists a world we rarely visit, filled with forgotten memories, suppressed feelings, and inherited patterns we never chose but somehow carry. This hidden realm doesn't simply store our personal history. It connects us to something older and deeper, a shared foundation of human experience that stretches back through generations. We are not as individual as we imagine. The fears that wake us at night, the longings that pull at us, the images that appear in our dreams, many of these don't originate solely from our own experience. They emerge from a deeper layer of mind that humanity shares, built from countless lifetimes of struggle, triumph, terror, and wonder. To understand yourself, you must first accept that you are both unique and universal, both singular and plural. You are an individual expression of patterns that have existed long before you were born and will continue long after you're gone. There is a part of you that you refuse to see. It lives in the periphery of your awareness, showing itself in moments of anger, shame, or unexpected behavior. You might call it your worst self, but that's not quite accurate. It's simply the self you've rejected, the collection of qualities and impulses you decided long ago were unacceptable. This hidden aspect forms early. As children, we learn quickly what earns approval and what brings disapproval. The traits that threaten our belonging, our aggression, our selfishness, our raw desires, these get pushed into darkness. But they don't disappear. They accumulate in the shadow, growing stronger in their exile. The more energy you spend maintaining the image of who you think you should be, the more powerful this shadow becomes. You can recognize your shadow in the people who irritate you most. That colleague whose arrogance enrages you, that friend whose neediness exhausts you. Often they're mirrors showing you what you've hidden from yourself. We don't react strongly to qualities that don't somehow resonate within us. The thief suspects theft. The liar sees deception everywhere. And the person who denies their anger often finds the world inexplicably hostile. Meeting your shadow requires courage, not judgment. It asks you to acknowledge that you contain everything human: capacity for cruelty and kindness, cowardice and bravery, pettiness and generosity. Wholeness doesn't mean perfection. It means accepting the full spectrum of what you are. Certain patterns repeat across all human stories: the hero who ventures into danger, the wise old figure who offers guidance, the trickster who disrupts order, the mother who nurtures and protects. These aren't just characters in myths or movies. They're fundamental structures of human experience, templates that shape how we understand ourselves and the world. You've encountered these patterns your entire life without naming them. In childhood, you intuitively understood the fairy tale about leaving home, facing trials, and returning transformed. In adolescence, you felt the pull of rebellion, the need to break from what came before. In adulthood, you may have experienced the call to nurture something beyond yourself, or to seek wisdom rather than conquest. These aren't arbitrary phases. They're archetypal journeys that humans have traveled in every culture and era. These patterns live in you right now, influencing your choices and reactions. When you feel compelled to protect someone vulnerable, the archetypal parent awakens. When you're drawn to overthrow convention, the rebel stirs. When you seek to mediate conflict, the peacemaker emerges. You're never simply yourself. You're always yourself, plus these ancient forms moving through you. The question isn't whether you'll live out these patterns. You will, whether you recognize them or not. The question is whether you'll live them consciously or unconsciously. Will you be moved by forces you don't understand, Or will you recognize the archetypal energies at work and choose how to engage them? While you sleep, another kind of thinking takes over. The orderly, logical mind that navigates your waking hours steps aside, and something older speaks. Dreams use a different language, one built from images rather than words, from feelings rather than logic, from symbols rather than clear statements. Most of us dismiss our dreams as random noise, mental static produced by a sleeping brain. But this dismissal comes at a cost. Dreams are attempts by the unconscious to communicate what your conscious mind has overlooked or refused to see. They show you what you're avoiding, what you're becoming, what needs attention. They speak truth, but in code. The unconscious doesn't think in abstractions. It thinks in pictures, in stories, in metaphors. When your waking life becomes too narrow or rigid, dreams often become more vivid and strange, as if demanding you pay attention. That recurring dream of being unprepared for an examination might not be about tests at all. It might be pointing to areas of life where you feel inadequate or exposed. The dream of a house with hidden rooms might be showing you aspects of yourself you haven't yet explored. You don't need elaborate systems to work with dreams. You need patience and curiosity. Ask yourself what the dream might be trying to show you. What did you feel during the dream? What in your waking life carries that same feeling? Dreams aren't puzzles to be solved so much as invitations to see yourself more completely. Pay attention to what repeats. The same figures appearing across different dreams, the same emotions recurring in different scenarios, the same landscapes or situations manifesting in various forms. These repetitions are significant. They're the unconscious circling around something important, something that needs to be brought into awareness. Sometimes a dream will shock you awake precisely because it's trying to break through your usual defenses, to show you something you've been carefully avoiding in daylight hours. There's a process that unfolds across a lifetime, one that has no endpoint and no final achievement. It's the gradual movement toward becoming more fully yourself, toward integrating what you've rejected, toward consciousness of what was unconscious. This isn't about self-improvement in the usual sense. It's not about becoming better according to some external standard. It's about becoming more whole, more real, more honest with what you actually are. This work is rarely comfortable. It requires facing what you've avoided, feeling what you've suppressed, acknowledging what you've denied. It means recognizing that your niceness might hide aggression, that your strength might conceal vulnerability, that your independence might mask a deep need for connection. It means seeing that you are contradictory, complex, and imperfect, and that this is not a problem to solve, but a reality to accept. Modern life often pulls us away from this inner work. We're encouraged to look outward constantly, to achieve, to acquire, to present a polished version of ourselves to the world. But something in us knows this isn't enough. The dissatisfaction that creeps in despite success, the questions that persist despite answers, the feeling that something essential is missing, these are calls to turn inward, to begin the work of truly knowing yourself. The strange paradox is that this journey toward yourself also connects you more deeply to others. When you stop pretending to be what you're not, when you accept your own darkness and light, you become more capable of accepting others in their fullness. You stop needing people to be simple or perfect. You recognize in them the same complexity you've discovered in yourself. Compassion grows naturally from this recognition, not as a moral achievement, but as an honest response to seeing clearly. Who might you become if you stopped running from your shadow? What would change if you listened to what your dreams are trying to say? How might your life shift if you recognized the ancient patterns moving through you? These aren't questions that demand immediate answers. They're invitations to a different way of being, one that values depth over speed, integration over perfection, truth over comfort. The work is there. Waiting, whenever you're ready to begin.